Ever catch yourself wondering why some folks with all the advantages just don't quite make the impact you'd expect?
Oh, definitely. Or maybe the opposite, right? Someone overcomes incredible odds.
Yeah, through sheer determination and maybe, well, maybe something else is going on there too.
That's a perfect lead-in, actually, because it really gets to the heart of what we're digging into today. We're looking at First Chronicles, specifically chapter 5.
Okay, First Chronicles 5. So old historical records.
Exactly. Genealogies, tribes, battles from, ages ago. But the key thing is these were real people. They had ambitions, faith. They made choices with real consequences.
Just like us, facing similar struggles in a different context.
Precisely.
Yeah.
So while it's history, it's also packed with lessons.
Right. So our mission for this deep dive isn't just a history lesson. It's about pulling out those timeless bits of wisdom, seeing how this ancient text can actually, well, strengthen our faith today.
And this chapter has it all: privilege, big wins, and then, a major fall. It's quite the story arc.
Okay, so where do we kick off? Reuben.
Let's start with Reuben. He was the firstborn son of Israel, a position of, significant honor and expectation back then.
Huge deal, the firstborn. Leadership, the main inheritance, all that.
But the text doesn't mince words. It says his birthright went to Joseph's sons.
And the reason.
Pretty blunt.
Yeah, he defiled his father's bed. A serious transgression with massive repercussions for him.
So the big takeaway there: privilege isn't a guarantee.
Not at all. That's the principle, isn't it? Having that head start didn't lock in his blessing, his actions, his faithfulness, or lack thereof. That's what mattered.
It really underscores personal responsibility. Integrity trumps position.
It does. Makes you think about the opportunities we get and, how we handle them. Are we faithful with what we're given?
Good point. Okay, so after Reuben's story, the chapter moves east of the Jordan River.
Right. To the tribes of Reuben, even after losing the birthright, his descendants are still there, Gad, and the half-tribe of Manasseh. They settle in areas like Gilead and Bashan.
And the text paints them as pretty formidable. Oh, yeah. Valiant men, it says. Skilled with shields, swords, bows, ready for war. It even gives a number.
44,760. That's a specific count. A serious fighting force.
Definitely. And they put that force to use. There's this account of a war against the Hagarites and some other groups, Jatur, Nephish, Nodab.
Okay, so a major conflict. How did it go?
They won decisively. But why they won is the crucial part.
Ah, okay. Not just their skill.
The text is explicit. It says, they cried to God in the battle, and he was entreated of them because they put their trust in him.
Wow. So in the heat of the fight, they prayed, they trusted.
Exactly. Their strength was there, sure, but the victory hinged on their reliance on God.
And the results? Spoils of war.
Huge spoils.
Yeah.
50,000 camels, 250,000 sheep, 2,000 donkeys, and 100,000 captives.
A massive victory. And then there's that powerful line.
Yes. For the war was of God. It attributes the outcome directly to divine intervention based on their trust.
That really resonates. Thinking about our own modern battles, personal stuff, work challenges.
It absolutely does. It's a powerful reminder, isn't it? That when we feel overwhelmed, maybe outmatched, turning to God, actually trusting him, that's a source of real strength. It's not just about our own effort.
It suggests acknowledging our limits and seeking that divine help can, well, change the outcome. Not relying just on ourselves.
Precisely. We don't have to go it alone.
But the story doesn't end there on a high note, does it?
No, it takes a pretty sobering turn later in the chapter. After all that, after experiencing God's help so directly.
That happened.
It says, they transgressed against the God of their fathers and went a-whoring after the gods of the people of the land.
Oh, wow. So they abandoned the very God who gave them the victory. They turned to idolatry.
That's what the text says. A complete reversal, and the consequences followed.
Swiftly, I imagine.
Seems so. It says, God stirred up the spirit of the Assyrian kings Pul and Tilgath-Pilneser.
The Assyrians. That's serious.
Very serious. They came in and carried those tribes away into captivity, exiled them to places like Hala, Hawor, Hara, far from their home.
What a contrast. From God-given victory to exile because of unfaithfulness.
It's stark, isn't it? It really highlights how fragile prosperity can be if it's not grounded in ongoing faith. They experienced God's power, then drifted away when things were presumably going well, maybe got comfortable.
Yeah, maybe success itself became a distraction. It raises that tough question. How do we stay faithful, not just when we need help, but also when we're blessed?
That's the challenge.
Okay, let's try to connect these threads to today. Reuben's story first, losing potential.
Right. It's a clear reminder that, talent, opportunity, privilege,
Mhm.
they aren't the whole picture. Integrity, making good choices, faithfulness, that's key for true lasting success or fulfillment.
It's about what you do with what you're given.
Exactly.
And then the military victory, that reliance on prayer in battle. How does that translate?
Well, think about the struggles you face. Maybe it's a health issue, a family crisis, a huge project at work. Are you primarily relying on your own smarts, your own strength?
Or are we remembering to, like they did, cry out to God, to actually place our trust in him in the midst of it?
Yeah, it's an invitation to bring God into our challenges actively.
And the flip side, the turning away, the whoring after other
Yeah.
gods, that feels very relevant.
Incredibly relevant. Our idols today might not be statues, right?
No, but they can be anything that takes God's place.
Success, status, money, relationships, even good things that we elevate above God. Our career, maybe social media validation.
Anything that captures our ultimate devotion. It's a subtle danger.
It is. And the chapter draws such a direct line. Faithfulness led to blessing and victory. Unfaithfulness led to judgment and exile.
So it strongly suggests God responds to sincere seeking, to obedience.
That's the principle highlighted here. It's not always simple cause and effect in every situation. Life's complex, but there's a clear pattern shown. Turning towards God brings connection and help. Turning away, well, it leads down a different path with its own consequences.
And all these choices, they build a legacy, don't they? The Eastern tribe story had long-term effects.
Absolutely. It makes you think, what legacy are my choices building? Am I building something based on faithfulness?
So wrapping up the key takeaways, spiritual integrity matters more than just position, like with Reuben.
And prayer and trust in God are powerful resources, especially when facing our battles.
But we also need to be wary of those modern idols, the things that pull our devotion away from God, especially maybe when things are going well.
That drift into unfaithfulness during times of ease is a real warning here. God honors obedience, and consistency matters.
Okay, so maybe a final thought for everyone listening to chew on.
Yeah, perhaps ask yourself, as you navigate your own life, your own challenges and successes, where is your trust really placed?
And are there any subtle God's ambition, comfort, approval, whatever, that might be competing for that top spot in your heart?
It's about consciously reflecting on where our reliance truly lies day by day. How can we actively, strengthen that relationship with God, making faithfulness the foundation?
Powerful stuff to consider from an ancient story. It really does still speak volumes today.